This is the Invite Health Podcast, and I am Amanda Williams. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing managing stress while dealing with the everyday changes occurring with COVID-19. This is something that is impacting each and every single one of us pretty much throughout the globe. And to be able to maintain your sanity through all of this, oftentimes it comes down to being able to manage stress. So I'm going to talk about some details when it comes to different techniques you can try to utilize, as well as different nutrients that may be very beneficial. But before we get into the heavy details of all of that, I always just like to remind people to subscribe to the Invite Health Podcast. You can leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. All of the information on today's episode will be linked in the episode description, and you can visit invitehealth.com/podcast for more information. So let's talk about managing stress. I know I even feel it. You turn on the news and you go, oh my goodness, and you just can't believe it. Every single day it's just continuously getting worse. I understand this coming from a public health background as well as a medical background, the true ramifications of this to our society as a whole. And when we look at it globally, being that this is a pandemic, this is something that really should frighten all of us because it's impacting each and every one of our daily lives. For me, I don't visit family. I'm not going to see my parents the way that I used to go and see them on a regular basis. And I know I am not alone in that. Certainly for many people, maybe you're at home now and you're not working. And this is driving up stress for you. Maybe you have concerns because maybe you know someone who has tested positive for COVID-19 and you have concerns for them as well as for yourself. So there are things that you can be doing on an everyday basis that can really help navigate through all of the changes that we are all going through. Unbeknownst to us, this is something that none of us have ever had to experience, and to be able to use the right tools throughout our day to make sure that we are not weakening and lowering our immune defenses because of our heightened level of stress. So I'm going to talk about certain techniques that people can be using. And I know people are all over the internet right now and people are checking out different websites, and maybe you're trying to do yoga at home and maybe you've never done this before, but you're giving it a whirl. Well, that's great. You have to find different outlets. For some people, I know that they're having, virtual dance parties. These are wonderful ways for you to release some of those daily stressors. And I certainly encourage people to find whatever niche works for you. For some people, they may find that, doing meditation is very beneficial for them. For others, you may find that if you jump into reading a book, that this really helps you decompress. But you have to find something every single day that can lower that stress level, because the more stress we have, and everyone is experiencing it to some degree, you have to be able to manage it and to be eating the right foods. And now it is so critical that you are trying to do the right things for your body by putting the right nutrients in. And I know that this is a challenging time because I was at my local grocery store over a week ago, and the shelves are getting wiped out. The produce isn't as abundant as we are most accustomed to. But you still have the ability to make smart choices. And I encourage you to do so. Remember, our bodies are our engines. And if we are putting bad fuel into a car, we know what happens. Well, the same thing happens in our body. If we are feeding our bodies foods that are not nutrient dense, then eventually that will catch up. And then we deplete, and we continue to deplete all of those very critical vitamins and minerals and those very important antioxidants. And if we're not replenishing those with the foods or with proper supplementation, then what we are doing is we are setting ourselves up to be in a position where we may have lowered immunity brought on because of stress. So I'm going to talk about some different nutrients that can be beneficial to manage your stress during this time that we are all experiencing, but we're going to take a quick break first. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
And welcome back. Now let's think about what we can be doing to manage stress. Remember, the foods matter. And right now, people are not perhaps getting the best selection of foods, because I always encourage people to adhere to a Mediterranean diet, because this is really going to be packed with the most vitamins, minerals, all of those wonderful antioxidants that can really help to fend off all of the free radicals that the body can be bombarded with, especially under states of stress. So foods do matter, and we certainly get it because we're all living it too. So we understand that it may be a little bit more difficult to get the foods that you normally would be eating. And hopefully you're normally eating foods that fall into that Mediterranean style diet. But I just want people to be aware that we do have some really wonderful superfoods that during this time might be a good idea to, have on hand. So say if maybe your local grocery store doesn't have the selection of fruits and vegetables from week to week that you're used to, that you can still make sure that you're getting the key nutrients. So we have our wonderful Reds HX formulation and our Greens HX formulation. Both of those are just packed to the max when you think about all of the different antioxidants. Plus it has a probiotic blend in that. So once again, we're trying to enhance the immune system. When you are getting adequate fruits and vegetables, oftentimes people will feel like they feel better. And that's because the body has the capability now to handle oxidative stress as well as physical and emotional stress that is brought on by certain situations. And there's no greater situation than what we're dealing with now, which is COVID-19. And, if you're not experiencing the effects of it right now, you must tell yourself you will. At some point, this is going to affect every area in the country, and you just want to make sure that you are doing everything possible. We know Americans are not doing the right things when it comes to fruit and vegetable intake. I mean, you can just look at the CDC risk factor surveillance system, and when they did all of their data analysis, they found that 76% of Americans do not meet the recommended daily amount for fruit consumption, which is 2 cups a day. And then when it comes to vegetables, you're supposed to be getting 3 cups a day. An alarming 87% of Americans are not meeting that requirement. So just even looking at something like the Reds HX and the Greens HX, having all of these wonderful, powerful, high ORAC value nutrients in these formulations are really good things to have on hand, especially right now when people say, well, what in the world's ORAC? That actually stands for the oxygen radical absorbent capacity. So you want to see how certain nutrients are able to fend off stress in the body. So Reds and Greens is a really nice way to really make sure that you are not leaving out those powerful nutrients in your diet. So I certainly encourage people to look at things like that. If you know dietary wise, you usually don't get adequate fruit and vegetable intake. Now it really is quite important to make sure that you are doing those things. We can also look at other nutrients that fall into that category of how the body can manage stress. So I talked about, when you think about the different superfoods. So even within our line, we have organic flax powder, we have the Reds and the Greens, we have beetroot extract, we have cocoa extracts. We have really wonderful nutrients that can help the body during this time. But what I want to talk more specifically about are other nutrients that you can be looking at that can help to mitigate or offset the amount of stress that you may be experiencing at this time. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I'm going to tell you about some of those nutrients and how they can benefit your body and stress. We'll be right back.
This podcast is brought to you by InviteHealth.com. For over 20 years, Invite Health has provided premium quality supplements and expert advice you can trust. Now, first-time customers can enjoy an exclusive offer. Visit invitehealth.com/podcast or click the link in this episode description. That's invitehealth.com/podcast for your exclusive offer on Invite Health products. Invite Health offers the resources you need to make important decisions about your health. Chat live with degreed healthcare professionals, get product information, and find retail locations near you at invitehealth.com. You can also learn about our new genetic testing program and our exclusive Invite Fitness Wellness program. Follow Invite Health on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast today. Now back to our episode.
And welcome back. We are trying to figure out how to manage stress right now. So we know foods matter. Foods first. If you're not choosing the right foods and you know that you're a little bit nutrient deficient, we have all of our wonderful superfoods, things like cocoa, our Reds HX, which is a wonderful blend of fruit and vegetable extracts, and probiotic. We know probiotics are key right now. We also have our greens HX. We have beetroot extract, which is also combined with tart cherry extracts, a really powerful punch of antioxidants. So these are key. But now let's think about other things. Let's think about just basics. Magnesium, for example. How many people are lacking magnesium? It's estimated in the United States anywhere from 50 to 75% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. Why? Well, you can look at our diet once again. But we know that magnesium can do really wonderful things for allowing our body to remain more relaxed. When we think about our skeletal muscles, when we think about our vascular system, and if we have vasoconstriction occurring, which can drive up our blood pressure, which can happen during times of stress, well, this is going to happen more commonly if we already are behind the 8 ball when it comes to magnesium status. So things as simple as magnesium, taking magnesium on a regular basis. You know, if you're using magnesium glycinate, that's wonderful. Magnesium citrate. For some people, they really enjoy the citrate form. They'll take that in the evening before they go to bed because oftentimes it may absorb just a wee bit quicker. So these are options that you have available to you, and something as simple as the mineral magnesium. I know it's mind-blowing, but as I mentioned, 50 to 75% is the estimates of how many Americans are low in magnesium. Now we can look at some other nutrients. We can look at things like L-theanine. L-theanine is this wonderful amino acid that is primarily derived from green tea. And one of the things that we know about L-theanine is that it can help the body in its response rate of releasing GABA. Now, GABA is our primary stress relieving, calming neurotransmitter. So if we can get a good flow of GABA coming out, it helps to keep us more calm. So for many people, they'll find that taking L-theanine throughout their day helps to offset a lot of that kind of that angst that people are feeling right now. And for many people, they'll find that taking L-theanine in the evening before they go to bed, that this can really help with that onset of sleep. Because for many people, your minds are racing right now and you lay down and you're thinking all these different things. And you want to make sure that you're doing right by your body and you're getting adequate sleep. I mean, ideally that you're getting a good 7-8 hours of sleep every night. So for people whose minds are a little racy at night, looking at things such as L-theanine or 5-HTP, which is 5-hydroxytryptophan, and having those as part of your evening routine may be very beneficial to getting an adequate night's sleep. But we can also look at melatonin for that matter too. You know, having melatonin in the evening before you go to bed may help promote a more restful night's sleep. And these are just kind of just basic things that we know about and that we have become kind of the experts in at Invite Health. So when you're not really sure as to what you should be doing right now, when it comes to navigating this stressful situation and what nutrients you might not be getting in your diet because maybe you're not doing the right foods because you just don't have access to them, that's when you want to look and see What are the areas that I can make simple fixes to? Is it that I just add in a scoop of this powerful fruit and vegetable extract that also has probiotic every day? Is that going to be helpful? Is it that I need magnesium along with whatever else I'm taking, zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C right now, which are quite advantageous? Do you need to think when it comes to sleep and trying to make sure that you're getting proper sleep? This is when we're going to be looking at things such as maybe a higher amount of L-theanine at night or 5-HTP in the evening or taking that melatonin. So there's many different things that are available to you when it comes to managing stress. So you have to find things to release that stress. Like I said, it may be that you become one of the virtual, dance party members. It may be that you become an at-home yoga person. Maybe you're used to going down to your yoga studio and now you can't do that. But you have to find ways to allow the body and the mind to remain calm as you can be. And you want to get the right foods and you want to take in those right nutrients. So there's so many different options out there. I'm going to do another podcast talking more about those superfoods and how you can incorporate those into your routine right now. Some different maybe recipe ideas for you where you can get a little creative. People are at home now, so maybe you're looking for ways to be a whiz in the kitchen. And so I'll give you some hints and tips as to what you can be doing with some of our wonderful superfoods. But for now, we're going to wrap it up. Just remember, try and find ways to keep your stress level low. Make sure you're trying to get the right foods. Make sure you're getting adequate rest. And think of just basic things as easy as magnesium for you. Now, thanks for tuning in to today's podcast. Remember, you can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, leave us a review, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health, and we will see you next time for another episode of the Invite Health podcast.